Hey y'all, what's going on? This is Jesse Both from the 19th hole. We're going to do the rookie guide here, the upcoming East Coast tournament, and this is going to be talking about holes 1 through 9. We'll talk about the routes, the ball selection, the club selection, and any kind of elevation changes that you should expect to see during this tournament. This is going to be the type of guide where I go through and illustrate the holes for you, and this will cover the rookie, and I'll try to do one for pro and expert tomorrow. So hopefully this information will help you, and you enjoy it. We'll start in just a second. Alright, so we're going to start here with hole number 1. And we start off with a par 4. Now in the rookie, two options to play are to the left side or to the right side. Playing plus 10% for our elevation change. If you play it to the right side, it's going to be a shot that you're going to bounce off this fairway here and over the rough line, trying to bounce it in this next area of fairway and then roll it up to somewhere in about that area. Now to play that shot, you can play that one with the quarterback or the extra mile, and I would definitely recommend a ball with some side spin, because you are not going to have the top spin to probably bounce here and over this bunker. So for that reason, you want to use curl in that side spin to stay to the right side of that bunker on the second bounce. On the left side, you're going to play a shot pretty much just straight up the fairway, and you'll bounce somewhere right here, kind of in front of that bunker. You use top spin and right spin because you want to direct that ball around that bunker and up the fairway to somewhere in that zone. So the second shot, plus 10% as well for the second shot. And we're going to talk about the second shot from the left-hand side first. So you either have, depending on your drive location, you're looking at a long iron probably or a short iron. To play the shot around the bunkers to the right, you're going to want to use a ball with side spin, left spin, and curl. So definitely pack your long iron and short iron accordingly to have those type of those type of stats. Your shot's going to come around here with curl, left spin, and back spin, and try to take it towards the hole that way. Not a very eagleable approach to the hole, but it should be definitely a way to give you a birdie for sure. The other technique is to play the rough bump right here, off this rough here. And if you're going to play that, you want to definitely bring a club with some topspin, at least 3 to 4 bars of topspin for sure for that shot. Also, do keep in mind, if you do adjust back down into these bunkers, you are going to want to have to push up your shot about a half to a bar, 1 ring, in order to compensate for adjusting down to that lower elevation. Anytime you adjust down to a lower elevation, you want to make sure you push back your shot up in a straight line with the ball guide. So, alright, so for your second shot to the right side, it's going to be your best chance at the eagle in my opinion. And it's going to be pretty much a straight on shot at the hole. And you want to use backspin and just try to play that ball guide at a good line of the hole, and hopefully you can get that drop. But plus 10% on each of those 2 shots. And do keep in mind, do remember, ball selection is key. I would definitely recommend a ball with good side spin stats on this hole for sure. Alright, hole number 2 is a par 3 here. And it's a par 3 that we've had many times in the history of this game. As far as the rookies go, you're going to be playing this one with the wood club. You're not going to be playing this one with the driver. It's going to be a wood. It's most likely going to be some sort of a side tailwind. So that means, as far as club selection goes, we're looking at a Viper, maybe a big dog, or a sniper if you have that. You're going to play the shot up here along the right-hand edge, fairly close to the edge of this rough line right here. That's kind of like the best landing area for this shot. I like a ball with some side spin. So, cheap wise, I'm looking Quasar. But if you have the Katana, it may be a great hole to splurge with the Katana on as well. Plus 10% is going to be your elevation for your tee shot on this hole. And basically, the way that you're going to play this is somewhere around 0.5 to 1 bars of topspin on this shot. You're also going to be using pretty much max right spin, I would say. And you're going to be taking your shot up this fairway. You want your second bounce to be somewhere right about there on the green, up this hill, and then back down to the hole. Do keep in mind, if you go too far up this hill, you will catch kind of a different type of what's the word I want to use? You'll definitely catch an area of the green that feeds your ball a little bit more down the green in that direction and not quite as much in line with the hole. So you don't want to go too far up the green, but you do want to go enough where that you do have enough momentum on the way back down the hill to get that ace, because it is possible if you don't get far enough up the hill, you can end up short of the hole. And this is definitely one of those holes where you have a really good chance to get the ace, so definitely keep that in mind. As far as curl goes on this shot, you are going to use some curl for sure on this shot. I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of about probably a half a ball curl would definitely be a good curl amount on this hole. But definitely, depending on the wind direction, you may want to adjust that as well while you are practicing these holes and kind of maybe experiment a little bit with different curl amounts depending on the different wind variations that you may find. But yeah, plus 10% on this hole. Hole number 3, and this one is a very long hole, and of course it's a par 5. So for this hole right here, unfortunately in the rookie, you're not going to have the balls, the clubs, and you're definitely not going to have the wind to try to go for that second fairway. So your goal is to just get it up here to this edge of this fairway as safely as you can. And if you have a quarterback or a rock, that definitely may be a good option to use on this hole because of its accuracy and because of its ball guide. It's going to allow you to pinpoint where you put the ball, and also it's probably going to get great proof your shot. If you use an extra mile and you hit great and you don't have it lined up correctly, then this rough right here could definitely come into play. If you use too much topspin, this bunker could come into play. So for that reason, I really like the controlled drivers on this hole. So for our tee shot, plus 10% right here. For our second shot, I'm also going to say plus 10% right here. And for your second shot, you're going to be using your big dog, and you're going to try to get your shot somewhere up into this area right here, just before the bunker. So for that reason, you're going to have to take your shot over to the right side of this big rough area in the middle of the fairway. You're going to land it somewhere in here, and then you use some topspin and some left spin to roll it up that way. Definitely be careful with the amount of topspin you use, because too much topspin could definitely put you into that bunker. I would not play any kind of shot where you're really having to overpower your shot, and it's definitely, you want to have a really strong emphasis on the perfect ball here, because this rough right here could also come into play with a great right. As far as the ball goes, in the rookie, if you want to use a Titan ball, you can, but it's definitely not necessary. I would look more towards like a Quasar ball on this hole. So for your third shot will be going slightly uphill. So for that reason, we are going to say minus 10% for your third shot towards this green. And it may be a short iron or it may be a long iron depending on your second shot location. This green gives you two options. You can either run your shot up to the back of the green and then let the ball come back down the hill towards the hole. If you can find that funnel, perfect. You could also go straight at the hole with just a couple bars of backspin as well, and that would be some sort of like a Saturn or a backbone shot or something like that, maybe even the thorn. And that's definitely another great option. If you do get you want to get a little bit risky, you can try to put that drive a little bit farther up the fairway on that second shot, more towards the right side of that bunker in the middle. And then that will put you more in range for like a short iron shot with like the thorn or something, or the hornet or something like that. So definitely those are possibilities as well. And in my opinion, that's really the only play we have on this hole as far as the rookie goes. Hole number 4. And this is a hole that we've seen many times as well. For the rookies, I would definitely say that this is probably Quasar ball hole, I would say. And you're going to be looking at using your extra mile on the tee shot, and you're going to land it somewhere in this zone right here. And you, depending on your extra mile level, you could possibly try to go for a shot a little bit farther up the fairway as well. We're first going to look at this shot from the right hand side first, and if you want to play it that way, you're going to play a pretty good amount of topspin, most likely full topspin and max left spin as much as you can on this shot. Your second bounce is going to be, you don't want to get too far up here along the rough line because that fairway does slope up quite high, and that will give you a really tall bounce on your shot. You want to go with your second bounce underneath these trees. You don't want that hop to be too high because you can hit the tree if you have too high of a bounce. So you want to make sure your shot is in a trajectory under the tree. And you're really just trying to get your shot to roll out up the fairway up to about here. Now if you play the shot to the left hand side, if you have a driver that can make the distance, or if you want to maybe splurge on like a Titan ball or something like that, you're going to be using probably about 3 to 4 bars of topspin, maybe 5 bars of topspin, and max right spin on the shot. So what you're going to do is your shot's going to come up over here, it'll bounce here, and it's going to bounce under through the tree, and it's going to be about the same, the same thing. If you go that way, you can possibly get a little bit farther up into the fairway though, and that would be the advantage of playing that shot, in my opinion. And all that really does is it puts you into a short iron range instead of a long iron range for your second shot going towards this green. No matter which way you play it, you're going to be playing both your shots here to the front edge of the green here, and then just trying to figure out those spins for that second shot. For the second shot, I've seen people play it with 0% adjustment. I've seen people play it with plus 10% adjustment. I've always remembered playing it with plus 10% adjustment in times past, but if you start feeling like you are over adjusting just a tad bit, then you could possibly try the 0% elevation on that shot, or just kind of play it by ear depending on the location of your tee shot as far as the elevation goes. But definitely it's a great chance at an eagle here if you can get those spins dialed in, and a lot of it has to do with finding a very consistent landing location on the front edge of that green and trying to play it very consistently the same throughout your rounds. Alright, next hole we have coming up is hole number 5. I believe we're on 5. Hole number 5 here. And we got a par 3. So we got hole 5 and par 3. This one right here has definitely been one we've seen a lot. And I would say, from the first tee, you have a couple options. Your first option is going to be bouncing it off kind of like the middle area of this green. And you want to play a shot with, most likely your long iron shot. And you're going to be playing backspin, probably 4 to 5 bars of backspin. And you're really just going to go directly kind of at the hole from this location right here. So that's kind of a very straightforward way to play this hole from the first tee. Now, I would definitely go with like a backbone for that shot. I think a backbone would give you enough backspin, and it also gives you a really good amount of accuracy on that shot as well. And as far as ball go, you could use a Marlin ball here, or if you want to go with like a Quasar or a Navigator, you could also go with that. The other way to play this hole would be bouncing it over here to the right side right here, just onto the edge of the green. And for this shot right here, you're going to want to play a long iron with a little bit more backspin than the backbone. So you want to go with the Saturn. And also, I would definitely say a Quasar here for the side spin. You're going to take your shot up here. Your second bounce is going to be up here along the ridge of this green, which does slope severely from right to left. And you want to just try to get that ball guide in a nice line towards the hole. So your second bounce is going to go up along the edges of the green on that ridge, and it's going to drop back down to the hole, hopefully get yourself in line for a nice ace attempt. And that's going to be the way to play the shot to the right-hand side. I personally like the Saturn shot to the right-hand side. It's a hard hole no matter whichever way you play it, but to me, I've had a lot more success with the Saturn shot with the max backspin and the left spin to the right side and letting that ball just kind of slide back down that slope. And any of you that have played this hole before and have seen it done, you know what I'm talking about. But you can always play the shot up the middle if you want as well. And for this hole, we'll play plus 10% for our elevation changes. Alright, our next hole here is hole number 6. And this was a hole that was reconfigured the last time we had this hole. So we got hole 6 and par 5 here. So off the tee box, we'll play plus 10%, no matter what way we play it. And in my opinion, probably the safest and most consistent way to play this hole from the first tee is going to be pretty much just straight. You'll play this shot up the fairway. You bounce it right here, and you're just trying to get that shot as far up into this front right edge as you can without going too far into the rough or the bunker. So definitely, keep that in mind playing it that way. This may be a hole where you could play with the quarterback for a little bit more accuracy on the drive. For your second shot, and in my opinion, it's probably somewhere around a plus 10% for the second shot, and it's going to be an extra long wood. So we're talking about the big dog for sure, no doubt. As far as ball selection goes here, Titan ball would definitely be a great option on this hole. So we're looking for landing zone somewhere in there with our big dog, and you're going to have to use lots of right curl on the shot, and you're going to have to also use right spin, and you're actually going to have to use some top spin most likely. Depending on where you are on your drive and where you can land on that second fairway, the amount of top spin will definitely change. So two things I do know for sure is you need to have that curl somewhere between at least a ball and a half of curl, which is why we go with the big dog. It gives you a lot of curl, and that right spin. Those two things are absolutely 100% yes. The amount of top spin though that you use is something that you will definitely want to work with, and it may depend on what type of wind you have and what type of wind direction you have on that shot. But I would definitely probably guess that the topspin would be probably 3, 4, 5 bars of topspin on that shot, just to have enough to at least roll the ball up here to the fringe of the green, maybe even on the green. You definitely want to make sure you get the ball up there to that hole or to that green area. It's a pretty flat area, so even if you get fairly close to the green, you're still going to have a pretty easy and safe chip to the hole for that eagle. Now, if you want to try to play a power curl shot on this hole, that is another option. And depending on what kind of wind we have, if we have like a tailwind, that'll definitely make it a lot easier. You're going to be playing the landing zone somewhere right in here, and the goal is to shoot this ball up the fairway, trying to get it up into this zone right here, because from there then you're going to have a nice long iron or possibly even wood for the rough bump, or a shot to the fairway with a lot of backspin, trying to get it up here towards the green. Now, the way you're going to play the power curl shot is, I don't know, I would probably say the quarterback would be something to think about here on this hole. And you're just going to use your full amount of curl around these trees. You try to hit and then bounce. And you could either play that two ways. You could just go with the full curl and try to hit perfect. Or you could play the power curl shot adjustment with the quarterback. And the amount of rings you play with that adjustment will definitely change depending on the level quarterback that you have. Now, if you want to figure out what your adjustment numbers are for your particular club, you would go to golfclassnotebook.io and you would look up at the top. They have their different categories. You want to look for their hook or slice area, and there's a chart in there that actually will tell you, it breaks down your driver level, and then the amount of ring adjustments for the power curl shot with that club. So yeah, that's the options there. As far as the rookie goes, I think those are your two options on this hole. And definitely, yeah, powerful ball, Titan ball would definitely be the best way to go on this hole. All right, hole number 7. We got another par 3. And this may be a par 3 that gives some people some problems here. I would definitely say plus 10% for the elevation on this one right here. A couple options you have are to bounce the ball over here or to the right side here. You could also play a shot straight to the green, but to do that you'll definitely need a driver with a lot of backspin, like the Rocket, I would say, in the rookie. And I think that would probably be your only option to play that way from the rookie position, is with a driver with a lot of backspin like the Rocket, and you play backspin and right spin on that shot. Now the shot to the left-hand side, and you're most likely going to be playing that shot with the wood club, I would guess, is going to be a shot that you're going to be using probably at least 1.5 bars of topspin and max right spin with the wood. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be using the curl, is trying to curl this shot around here to bounce here, bounce over the bunkers, and you're going to land here on this fairway, and then roll it towards the hole that way. Try to kind of get that nice slope and then maybe down towards the hole. Now, as far as your wood goes, it's probably going to be the Viper, I would say. Possibly the Big Dog or a Sniper if you have those clubs. And as far as the ball goes, I think a Quasar ball would be fine. If you find that you don't have enough distance for the shot, you could always pull out a Katana ball to give you a little bit more distance on that club. And that would definitely be an option. If you want to play the shot to the right-hand side, which I think may be the best chance of getting the ace, you can play to the shot to the right-hand side as well. And you're going to use probably at least 4 to 5 bars of left spin to direct that shot away from this rough, because you want the shot to go over these bunkers. You want it to hit right here in this little fairway area, and then you want to just have just enough roll to go on the fairway and then back down toward the hole off that slope of the green. So for that shot right there, probably 4 to 5 bars of left spin, and somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 to 2 bars of a backspin, I would say, for that shot would definitely give you the best chance to roll on that green up the hill and then back down to the hole. It's definitely going to be a tough hole to ace, and I would not expect to see many aces here in the rookie, in my opinion. But if you wanted to play that shot to the middle, like we talked about right here, I think a Rocket in the lower division is going to be your best opportunity, and you're going to need probably at least 6 bars of backspin to try that shot out, in my opinion. Yeah, it's going to be a tough shot. It's going to be a very tough shot to play. And you're going to use some right spin as well, and you're going to have to guesstimate that bounce and that second and third bounce effect. But you're going to be playing it the same way as you play that shot to the right, where you kind of go up this hill and back down to the hole. Alright, so we got hole number 8 here. We've got 2 holes left. And this is a par 4. Another hole that we've seen quite a bit of. Alright, so for the rookies, extra mile and Big Dog are going to be the way to play this hole, and you definitely want to bring a ball with some power. So Titan ball is going to be the way to play it, plus 10% off the tee box. You're going to be looking to get your ball up in this zone right here. So your shot is actually going to bounce in this area over, near that rough line, and then it's going to roll out there. You definitely want to make sure you don't play this shot with too much topspin, because you don't want to roll through these fairways into the bunker. Plus 10% there on that shot. Now, I would say topspin wise, you're probably looking at about three to four bars of topspin there on that shot. Just keep in mind that the fairway does slope to the right from that bounce pot, that second bounce location. So definitely don't over adjust that shot and play too much topspin or too much side spin, in my opinion. You probably need to use a little bit of left curl on that drive just to kind of compensate for that little bit of push that you're going to get from that slope on that fairway off the bounce. But it's definitely very important to just make sure you get your shot up at least to this general area for your drive. Now for the second shot, you're going to be playing a shot off the fairway, right in this area right here. And I would say you're going to be playing about 1.5 to 2 bars of topspin. You want the ball to bounce from this fairway to the slope right here in front of the green, which is considered fairway as well, but it is a pretty severe little slope. You'll bounce there, you'll bounce again up towards the hole, and maybe get lucky and drop this one into the cup. This is definitely also downhill, and I would say about plus 10% on that second shot going downhill from there as well. It's definitely a tough hole to get to bounce in your favor, but it's definitely one that it's possible for sure. You definitely don't want to misjudge your second shot in that bounce as far as spin goes, because if you don't hit correctly, your ball will roll down off that front ridge area before the green, and you can fall back down into this bunker or even the rough. So definitely be very careful and make sure you get that ball up onto the green, because this is a hole where you don't want to mess up and end up with a par for sure. Now there definitely is possibilities, if you want to pull out like the Berserker ball and higher level extra miles with power curls and stuff like that, you can possibly get down into this area for the rookies. To play that shot, you're gonna have to have a little bit of luck, but your drive will be going over this bunker and it's going to be landing somewhere in this zone right here, and you just want to get that perfect angle straight through that gap and roll it down the fairway. In my opinion, it's a very I don't know, it's risky. It's just risky, and I don't know that it's completely 100% worth it. And if you're playing with a Viper or a Sniper, it will get you with the Viper or Sniper to a point where you can play with your Viper or Sniper towards the hole as well. And the difference between the Viper, Sniper, and the big dog is the accuracy, of course, and also that ball guide to possibly get a little bit better of a chance to roll that ball into the hole. But I don't know that it's worth going full out with the Berserker and just really wasting those resources that you have. I really just don't think that the risk-reward benefit is great enough to say, yes, use those resources. But depending on the wins that we see tournament that week, everything I just said right there could be wrong, and it would be worth the shot. So we'll just have to wait and see. All right, last hole we have here is hole number 9. And we got a par 5 here. The way to play this hole is a skip shot here, over the bunker here, land it there, and then roll it out up to the edge of this fringe. And this is a shot that we've been playing for a long time. You want to have at least 3 to 4 bars of topspin in a crosswind. If you have a headwind, more. Most likely we won't have a headwind though in the rookie. Most likely we'll have some sort of a cross or a tailwind. So somewhere between 3 to 4 bars of backspin, of topspin, and max right spin. And that's the way you're going to play this hole. Plus 5% off the tee box, and then we're playing minus 10% for the second shot. The other option to play this ball straight up the fairway, I think this is definitely the safer and conservative way to play it, but it's going to take you out of position for the albatross, which is really what you want to try to go for here. As far as your clubs go, I would definitely say, you want a club with distance. So for the rookies, your big dog or even possibly your Viper, if you're able to get far enough up this fairway on the drive, for sure. I would say a Titan ball for your ball selection would definitely be needed, just to give you that extra power. So for your second shot, you're playing a shot I would say you're most likely going to have a tailwind. So we're going to have somewhere between 3 to 4 bars of backspin off this little island here on our second shot. Over the rough, try to land it right there on the edge of the fringe and give yourself the best chance to roll into the hole for the albatross. Minus 10% for that second shot is definitely very important to remember. If for some reason we don't have a side wind or a tailwind, then you're going to use less backspin with a headwind. So just remember that. But chances are we will have some sort of a tailwind, side wind in the rookie division for that shot. So somewhere between 3 to 4 bars of backspin will be needed to play on that shot. All right, that's a pretty simple hole right here. If you're going to play it to the left-hand side, your best bet is just going to play it up this left-hand side and try to get you somewhere up in this zone right here for a little bit of a wedge chip to the hole. But in my opinion, playing it to the left side is a waste of time on this hole, and it takes you out of albatross chance 150%. And this is definitely a hole where an albatross on that last shot of the game could definitely push it into the top 3 or even possibly a gold medal. So definitely, I think it's worth the risk, and I think that is 100% the way to play the hole, is the bump off of the island. All right, y'all, thank you very much. That was the rookie guide, pre-tournament guide. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Definitely don't forget to sub the channel, set up the notifications, and check us out on Facebook at Golf Clash 19th Hole. Have a good day. God bless.